got a little bit bluesy there. Sorry about that. Zach Hval, singer, songwriter, guitar player extraordinaire. Would appreciate you clicking those links down below to follow me on social media, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the Planny Plans, the Yams, and listening to my new album, I Have No Strings and I Must Play, where you can hear a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about and teaching today. Today, Junior, and today we are continuing our little series here of education on blues, starting from the ground up. This is Blues Guitar 102, comping the shuffle. Comping in shuffle land, ladies and gentlemen. So, last time we broke down what exactly is a shuffle. We talked about the rhythm of the blues, how to count the shuffle, even just how to play a shuffle. We talked about some chords and a little bit of basic music theory. And so we're going to expand upon that and talk about how to apply these things. And I know that some of you want to learn how to rip it up like Stevie Ray Vaughan or Roy Buchanan and things like that, and we'll get there in due time. Good things take time, and what I saw a lot as a guitar teacher and just as a musician is a lot of people that didn't focus on their rhythm chops. I spent as much time, folks, on my, if not more time, working on my rhythm guitar than I have on my lead guitar because it's so important. All of the lickery-doo-dahs and stoidly-staddles don't mean anything if you don't know how to groove like a banshee in heat on the electric guitar. If there's no pocket, in other words, it doesn't matter how cool your licks are. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a simple shuffle pattern, or rhythm rather, and a simple chord progression. It's just going to be, we'll just, for clarity, we'll just say an A chord. We're going to do 4 bars of that, then 2 bars of the D chord here, back to 2 bars of the A chord, a bar of the E chord, a bar of D, back to a bar of A, and then 1 more bar of the E. So that's just 1, 4, and 5. It's a super common blues pattern that we're going to be comping over. So what is comping? Comping is a term I first heard from a jazz guitar player. I didn't know what he meant. He said, okay, I want you to play something and I'll comp over it. And I thought what he meant was that I'm a bad guitar player and he's just going to compensate for my lack of skill. But no, comping is just improvising with chords. What's great about blues is that, like we've been talking about, there is a set chordal structure to it. So you know what's coming up. And so what we're going to do is introduce how to improvise with chords. Don't hear me say that this is, the only way every time you're playing the shuffle pattern to do it, because what we're going to hopefully do is kind of mix and match some of the things I kind of demonstrated at the beginning, just to give you a taste of if you're in a band type of setting or a jam situation and you've got somebody that is going to play lead guitar and you want to back them up on rhythm guitar, or you've got a singer that you're backing up, or some other kind of instrument that's doing a lead part here. This is how you're going to back them up, and it gives you a little bit of, hopefully, some tools to be creative so that you're not just stuck, not that there's anything wrong with that, and that has its place, but we want to get creative. And we want to have as much fun doing rhythm guitar stuff as we're doing lead guitar stuff. I think a lot of times here in guitar community, in guitar land, we sell the rhythm stuff short, and it is to your serious detriment as a player. So I'll get off my soapbox and put on my teaching cap. We'll zoom in, and we'll break down some ideas to kind of get you started comping in shuffle land. Here we go! Well, alright! We'll break it down now. 3 things I want to teach you. Kind of what I sort of did at the beginning there of the video. I'm going to teach you, I did talk about it somewhat sarcastically at the beginning of the video, but it is kind of a good foundational thing, which is sort of just that bread and butter comping, I guess, idea. It's just taking these bar chords and adding some extensions on the bass strings there. And kind of what you're adding is, the first one you're going to add is the 6th here, up on the 9th fret of the A string, if we're working in the key of A, and then after that, hitting that G note, or the dominant 7th in A7. Right, for all the chords. keeping that choo to back, choo to back, in the back of your mind. Again, it's super simple. You know, you do have to stretch a little bit here. You know, Chuck Berry uses this in Johnny Be Good. You know, so again, it has its place in blues comping. But again, just taking those basic chords that you know and love and adding those extensions in. It's always going to be 6 and dominant 7, right? I mean, if you really want to look at it, it's root 5th, 6th, 7th. But I digress. That's just one idea. And I guess if you want to just, for posterity here, we'll do a little bit with the backing track. You get the idea. Or, you know, so that's just one way. That's actually kind of the first thing I learned how to do. We talked about it up here in E. You know, it has its place. Again, it's fine, but we want to get a little bit fancier. So, what I find myself doing more often than not, when I'm just working out some ideas for a blues song or just jamming with friends, is taking this kind of based off this F chord here, but sliding it up on the 7th, 6th, and 5th fret and getting that A chord, but we're not hitting the 5th here, interestingly enough, on the 5th string, or the 5th fret of the B string for that E note. We're going to swap that, and instead we're going to hit Mr. F sharp, that 6th. But in this context, just don't worry about the theory, but the way we're voicing it here, it's actually considered a 13th chord. So, I mean, again, it's the 13th is an extension of that dominant 7th chord. Again, don't worry too much about music theory. Just know that this is A13, and it sounds just fantastic. So, I mean, you could just... right? And then the nice thing is everything, it kind of follows that same shape. So if you want to do the D chord, right, the 4 chord, you're just going to slide up to the 12th fret. And for Mr. 5 chord, you betcha, up on the 14th fret. So again, that's kind of what I was working from at the beginning. So just, even if you just wanted to simply comp by doing the simplest thing possible and just playing the same chords but different voicings, that actually adds a lot of character to it. So if I were to mix well, I don't want to do that just yet. I'll just give you a little bit of context for how it sounds against the backing track. You get the idea. And then of course, up to 5. But kind of working with that idea, this is kind of something I heard Michael Bloomfield doing actually on a recording. I want to say it was a song called Stop that he did with Al Cooper on the keys, a fantastic blues piece. But you know, you can, depending on the tempo of your shuffle, you can kind of break it up rhythmically. What I more often am doing here in more of a shuffle context, I'll go ahead and, because it's blues, the notes in between these cracks here, you can slip in between the cracks rather, and it sounds just fine. So what I was doing kind of at the beginning is just doing a half step slide into the chord. You could even do it going from behind. So, just simply doing little rhythmic things like that. Again, you know, just as the music or the spirit leads you, you know, you kind of do these things. So, you know, just taking a look at that, I'm giving it context again here with the backing track. It sounds something like this. little half steps are fair game, and it'll sound fantastic, and it'll make whoever, if it's a keys, somebody on the harmonica, or somebody totally stottling in bluesland, it'll make them sound fantastic, and it'll sound just great. It's a conversation. Blues is conversational. That's why we're focusing so much on rhythm. And you don't even have to stick to just straight. You can play with the timing a little bit, so maybe not start on a downbeat. Maybe emphasizing again that backbeat. So 2 and 4. If you want to come in on a 2, so 3 or 4, 1. Just something like that. Just again playing with the timing as well as with the chord voicings. That would be kind of like the second takeaway. It's just not to being afraid to play with the timing as well. What else did I do? Okay. So yeah, again, just falling in between those cracks. A little chromaticism never hurt nobody. And then if you want to get riffy, this would be kind of going away, heading towards lead guitar land, where you can mix a little bit of a riff in there. Absolutely. It's kind of what I did there, and what again, it's straight blues land here. You don't even have to slide in, but I like to slide in just because it's hip. Sliding in from 5 to 7, but you could slide in from anywhere. I like to keep it in the house from 5 to 7, and then hitting this D note here below it. And if that F sharp comes in as well, nobody cares. Don't be afraid to get dirty every so often. Right, that's super bluesy. And hitting that C sharp, C to C sharp rather. Right, that's actually the sound of the blues. It's just a note that doesn't belong resolving to a note that does belong. Or a minor, well, this would be a minor third resolving to a major third in that case. And I'm just hitting that D, or excuse me, hello brain. I'm hitting that A13 again after that little riff. And again, circle. You can kind of mix and match these things, right? So again, the shape is the same. If I want to do that riff over the D chord. Again, that's a good device to just throw anywhere in your blues. If somebody else, if you've got a bass guitar, keys, and somebody's singing, you can just throw that in. Just having fun. Again, we're just coming up with all these ideas, and it's meant to be done on the fly. It feels a little mechanical now just because somebody's teaching it to you, but at the beginning there, I wasn't thinking about what I was playing. I was just comping. And that works again over all of those chord changes. What's unique about this pattern here, this chord progression, I should say, is that it kind of does sort of, it goes from the 5 to the 4 to the 1, then back to the 5. And so what that lends you, it lends it more to that idea of chromaticism, playing with those half steps. So and then what I kind of did there at the ending was throw a little bit of a turnaround on there, and it just felt right to go from this E chord to the, because we're walking again, the overall harmony is this. It just felt cool to kind of cool things like that. So just to review, I know we've been kind of talking a little bit about a lot of things, and it feels like a lot, but three things I kind of want you to think about here as you're jamming in bluesland is that basic idea of the power chord with the extension, farting around, with the 13th chord, emphasizing those half steps, and that riff. There's all sorts of cool things you can do to manipulate that, but that's another conversation for a different time. And then mixing and matching. And all of these sound cool, not just over a shuffle, but in other types of blues and even jazz as well, if you want to swing your blues a little bit. Just things like that. So hopefully you get an idea of, how to comp and shuffle in. There's more to blues than just, cowboy chords or even this. So hopefully there's a lot more we can go over. Later on down the line we're going to get into advanced comping techniques, but this is kind of just, again, your next level there. You know what a shuffle is, you know what the chords are, you know how it's supposed to sound. This is how we manipulate that pattern. I hope that makes sense. And there you have it. Comping in shuffleland. Again, not meant to be the gospel, right? You're going to have to mix and match with these things. I would suggest actually taking it one bar at a time. So maybe starting with that the power chord thing, and just a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Okay, got another bar coming up. Switch to that 13th chord, and then eventually after doing that, you'll feel more confident in playing these things, and eventually you'll be able to do it as second nature. And then once you can do it as second nature, you can start farting around with it, and then you're not even thinking about it. You're just jamming, making sweet musical congress with your friends, and that is what my goal is here with these types of educational material. Besides the educational material here, I do want to let you know I am live streaming every Tuesday night for Musical Hangout, the live music experience. It gives me a chance to actually show you these things and play tunes that I've written myself and do all sorts of fun covers and things like that, where you get to see me not just talk about these things, but demonstrate them. I put my money where my mouth is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not one of these plebs that just teaches on the internet. No, sir. No, sir. I put my money where my mouth is, and that can be experienced every Tuesday here on YouTube. If you're not free Tuesday night, at least click the links below and listen to my music. Again, you can hear me do these things as well in my own music. And follow me on social media as well. There's all sorts of wacky hijinks going on there as well. Lots of places you can interact with me, folks. My main goal is to blow up and act like I don't know nobody. And the only way to do that is if you continue to watch these videos on YouTube, tune into the live stream, and listen to the music, folks. Until next time, I'm Zach Hval, reminding you to always borrow money from a pessimist, because they never expect it back. Bread is bread, cheese is cheese, praise God.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.